Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Devo with Bo O. Hope you guys are doing well today. Enjoying life, and it is February 23rd. That means our daughter's birthday is coming up right around the corner. Tomorrow. Pretty cool. Awesome. Today we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 20. Yeah, chapter 20. So, gosh, we only have a week or so of Proverbs to go, a couple weeks maybe to go. And next week I'll be out of town. I'll be actually on a ski trip with my brothers. My brother from San Francisco will meet me, and another brother from New Hampshire, and his son. So that'll be awesome. I'm gonna have a great time. So next week, no devotions. Ooh, rough. Yeah, I wish they had kind of the system I have here, the internet, to be able to do it up there, but they don't. So I will not be able to be on. So you'll get an opportunity to catch up. That's for sure. If you've missed any, you can kind of get caught up and be ready to go for the following week, Lord willing. We'll be ready to go. So it'll be awesome. So let me see if we got anybody. Yep, we got Bob, we got Paula, we got Mike. Hey, Mike, what's happening, man? Hope you're doing well today. Got Casey, and we are ready to go. So let's do this. Proverbs 20. See what it says. You could always check out the archives at my YouTube channel at Bo Willette. Just type in Bo Willette in the search bar at YouTube, and you'll come up with my YouTube page. So, Proverbs chapter 20. Let's see kind of how this rolls. Let me put on my little light here so I can see a little better. Yeah, there we go. You know, as you get older, your eyes start kind of going a little weird, don't they? Okay, so Proverbs chapter 20 says, "Wine produces mockers, alcohol leads to brawls. Those led astray by drink cannot be wise." Man, that is true as can be. If you've wondered if the Bible is relevant to today, yeah, I think this verse kind of settles that. You know, when you drink too much, we've all done that before. A lot of us have, where we have drunk too much. And a lot of us have hung out with people where they drink and they just kind of go nuts when it comes to fighting. And I certainly try to, I think, surround myself by a lot of strong guys as I got older, because I realized that they could protect you. And so sometimes when you join a gang or you get involved in kind of your little sandlot crew, so to speak, you know, you definitely, there's a reason why you're hanging out with that group. Maybe it's because they become brawlers, right? And alcohol certainly leads to brawling, and it certainly can lead you astray and make you very unwise. So it says, "Those led astray by drink cannot be wise. The king's fury is like a lion's roar. To rouse his anger is to risk your life." Hey, for those people that are in power, he says to his kid, like, don't tick him off. You know, don't agitate the king when the king has in his power the ability to take your life. This is something that's kind of interesting today, but we don't have much respect, I think, for just people and their positions. Sometimes we have too much respect, and sometimes we just really don't have any respect. Though people in power do have the ability to do things to us. And that's something to think about. And practical wisdom would say, hey, hey son, hey daughter, tread lightly, with your boss. Don't just go in to your work environment and just go off on your boss. That's not a good thing to do. They have it in their power to fire you. And so, use tact. Be careful. Avoiding a fight is a mark of honor. Only fools insist on quarreling. Oh, man. Just someone who constantly wants to quarrel, right? That's certainly, I don't want that to be me. A constant quarreling. Constant going at it. Constantly going at it. Constantly wanting to rehash it again. But it talks about, hey, avoiding, right? A fight is a mark of honor. You don't have to do it. You don't have to go in there, right? It says, and let's face it, when it comes to physical fighting, man, this is way true, right? Gosh, when you get into a physical altercation, oh man, it can go on till someone really gets hurt. Those too lazy to plow in the right season will have no food in the harvest. Again, one on laziness, right? It says, though good advice lies deep within the heart, it says a person with understanding will draw it out. And that's cool. It's kind of like, am I a good counselor? Am I one that draws out, things from people? Good advice lies deep within a person with understanding will draw it out. Do I seek counsel from people? Do I want to draw out that wisdom that is in people's lives? And that means I probably got to get with them, and I probably have to talk with them, and I'm probably going to have to learn from them. And that takes a little bit of an investment. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of wisdom, it sounds like, and that we need to be people that are available and ready and invested to be able to get with those people, and then wait for that wisdom to come out, right? Draw that thing out through probably a nice attitude, some kindness, some gentleness, and that wisdom will come flying out of that person, to you. Many say they are loyal to friends, but who can find one who is truly reliable? There's only one that's truly reliable, right? And that's the Lord. He is faithful. And that's what the Psalms taught us, I think, when we went through the Psalms, just of the amazing faithfulness of God. Though our heart and flesh may fail, God is the strength and our portion, right, forever. Right? He's the faithful one. Jesus is the faithful one. And, sometimes on this planet, though, we might think we have loyal people in our life, and maybe you do, and praise God for that. But how many people in your life are loyal? Right? Sometimes we're let down because maybe we don't see a loyalty, to us, and that can let us down. And maybe it lets us down and reminds us that, the Lord is our shepherd. It brings us back to just relying on the Lord. A godly walk with integrity, blessed are the godly walk in integrity, and blessed are their children who follow them. Cool. Walking in integrity. Our children are blessed by that. It says, when a king sits in judgment, he weighs all the evidence, distinguishing the bad from the good. So basically talks about those in power. They weigh evidence, and they distinguish between good and bad. Right? Sounds like a court system in a way, right? Distinguishing what is right and what is wrong and making a decision. Just showing the power of the king, so to speak. The judgment that's at the hand of the king, or that person in power. False weights and unequal measures the Lord detests, double standards of every kind. So not good, double standards. And this is one I think of often. Do I treat even my kids different than I would treat other people? And of course the answer would be, well, yeah, sure I do. And then, you have to kind of, I don't know, I take a step back and I kind of look and I say, well, is that good? And is it better for me to try and not use favoritism in even their life with me? Can I detach for a moment from the personal emotions that I have as being their father and put them into the hands of the Lord as He is their father ultimately, and look at him more as a Christian brother or sister? Sometimes I think that way, and I kind of go through that in my mind in my prayer time with the Lord, and just kind of walk through that, and it's kind of, something that I just do personally maybe, but I think about our children, and I think about, them just as people who know God, because sometimes your emotions, I don't know if you're like me, but your emotions as a parent can get too warped. You get too kind of tweaked, because there's a lot of emotions attached. You have fear for your kids. You have maybe insecurities going on, or, maybe even control issues and things like that. Anyway, I think through those things when I think of these Proverbs. The godly walk in integrity. Blessed are the children who follow them. Children, man, you want them to follow you so bad. But sometimes you can get some weird motivations going in there, And so you got to work through that. When a king sits in judgment, he weighs all the evidence, distinguishing between... Oh, I said that, yeah. Who can say, I have cleansed my heart, I am pure and free from sin? Who can say that? Who can say that I have cleansed my heart and I am pure and free from sin? Can you? Could you say that? Could you? I love that. It's in the proverb, right? Who can say that? Who can say, man, hey, I'm totally, I've cleansed my heart and I am pure and free from my sin. It's kind of the idea is like, God, are you really that prideful that you think you got it really that together? That, hey, that person who says, God, I don't have any more pride. Or that guy that says, man, I don't have any more greed or no more envy in my life. All done. All the discontentment in my life is gone. All the fear in my life is gone. Really? That's amazing. We want to go there for sure. And maybe that's a person to look up to. Absolutely. But man, who can say that I have cleansed my heart? That you have done it. If there's any cleansing that's going to go on, right? If there's any free from sin that's going to happen, it's going to have to be outside of me. Because when I look within me, I don't see much power to be able to do it. And no power. Absolutely impotent. False weights and unequal measures. The Lord detests double standards of every kind. I read that. The children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure or whether it is right. So true. Ears to hear and eyes to see, both are gifts from the Lord. Yes, that's true as well, right? Every tree is known by its fruit. Every child is known by the way they act, right? Whether they're doing good or whether they're doing wrong. That's certainly true, right? I like this eyes to hear, or ears to hear, eyes to see, both are gifts from the Lord. That's kind of cool too. I find that. So it says in verse 13, if you love sleep, you will end in poverty. Oh, that's such a bummer, right? How many of us love sleep? Sleep is so fun. And you will end in poverty. Keep your eyes open, and there will be plenty to eat. Hey, it's another way to say don't get too lazy, right? Don't sleep your day away. The buyer haggles over the price, saying it's worthless, then brags about getting a bargain. Ooh, yeah, that person who's the salesperson, right? He's got a good sales pitch. What does he say? The buyer, this is the buyer, this isn't the seller, I should say, right? The buyer is the one who's haggling over the price. It's worthless. The car's worth nothing, right? And then he's so stoked. He tells his friends about how he purchased that at such a good deal, right? We tend to brag about our abilities, right, to finagle. As human beings, it seems like that's a pastime of our lives. We always love to get a bargain, and we love to brag about it. It says, wise words are more valuable than much gold and many rubies. And that's true. That's what the Proverbs are about, seeking that kind of wisdom. Get security from someone who guarantees a stranger's debt. Get a deposit if he does it for foreigners. So if you're going to go into a financial deal, you got to have it in writing. Isn't that interesting? You got to make sure things are going that are on the up and up, right? A guarantor. Get a deposit. Get money up ahead, up front. Whatever you need, make sure that you don't leave big risk. So stolen bread tastes sweet, but it turns to gravel in the mouth. There's a consequence, right? You might have got that stolen bread. You might be bragging about how you got that bread, but man, there's the other side of it, right? There's always the other side. There's always the sowing or reaping what you sow, right? Always, no matter what it is. You think you got this, you think you got your bargain, but really you stole, you manipulated. And there's a consequence for that, in our lives. And they could be stuff that's just in here, but it's there, Might be not a good conscience before the Lord. And that conscience just continues to eat at us and eat at us, move us in weird directions in life. So let's see. It says, plans succeed through good counsel. Don't go to war without wise advice. So he tells his son, hey, when you're going to go to a war, make sure you get with your cabinet and talk to them about it. Yeah, you don't want just some one person going off and just hitting the button, right? That doesn't sound good. Gossip goes around telling secrets. So don't hang out with chatterers. Chatterers. Those talking about other people, right? Did you hear? Do you know? Blah, blah, blah. Just don't go there, right? Telling secrets. Oh, man, that's a nightmare right there. If you insult your father or mother, your light will be snuffed out in total darkness. Don't do it, right? That's the idea is, man, why do you have to insult your mom and dad? Again, some people don't have good mom and dad. And, they have a lot to say about them. But in my life, good health is not going to come from me insulting people. That's not going to help me in my day to put down people. That's just not going to help, So just the idea of insulting in general is just not really looked upon in a good way. And in our hearts, just to walk a serenity life, insulting just can't be a part of that day, especially if you're doing it day to day. I don't want to insult the president. I don't want to insult the government people. It's not that I don't have to agree with them, and it's not that I don't talk logically about decisions and things like that. But to just go into insults just is not good for the heart. Got to be careful of that. An inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end, right? Prodigal son knows that. You get too much money at the beginning, you go, and man, you can really squander that. Sometimes the quick passions lead to long-term disasters. Quick passions lead to long-term disasters, right? Getting that payoff quick. And it says, don't say I will get even for this wrong. Wait for the Lord to handle the matter. This is cool. And this is really what 1 Peter chapter 2 is about. Is that when Jesus was insulted, because Jesus was insulted, he did not insult in return, but it says he committed himself to him who judges righteously, meaning he committed himself to God, who judges what? Righteously. See, Jesus believed that the Father was able to judge everybody righteously. Therefore, Jesus could say, even on the cross, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. He could say that because he knew his Father had the ability completely to judge the world in righteousness. And the question is do I believe that? Or do I have to get even myself? You know, like those movies that are always about, personal revenge, putting the law into your own hands, right? The law ain't going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And this says, hey, you know what? The Lord will handle the matter. Am I trusting God to handle the matter? It's a good one. Am I trusting the Lord to handle the matter? Or do I have to go and seek revenge myself? It says, the Lord detests double standards. He is not pleased by dishonest scales. We just read that. So there's a repetition in the proverb. The Lord directs our steps. So why try to understand everything along the way? Hey, if the Lord's going to direct your steps, why try to figure it all out? Why overthink the whole thing? Right? Maybe you just have to take today and just go, this is the day the Lord has made. This is what I got right now. Don't try to, think through every little thing. God's directed the steps. He got you to today. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had a friend or loved one that just overthinks everything. They're just so overthinking everything that it's like they can't even move anymore, because they're just overthinking everything. And I love how it says, so why try to understand everything along the way? It's hard to understand how everything moves in your life and different things you can control, things you can't control. And it can get overwhelming to the mind. And so it says, don't try to understand, right? I guess trusting that the Lord's directing our steps. It says, don't trap yourself by making a rash promise to God and only later count the cost. Don't just make a rash promise right to the Lord and then you can't fulfill it. Be careful with what you promise. A wise king scatters the wicked like wheat, then he runs his threshing wheel over them. Again, the power of those that are in, the political world. A lot of warnings about that. Be careful. You don't know what they're going to do with their power. They might just thresh you, so to speak, kind of idea. Yeah, and that's kind of crazy to think of. It says, the Lord's light penetrates the human spirit, exposing every hidden motive. Every hidden motive, Have you ever sat down and just wrote about what your motives are in a day? Kind of why you did what you did. Not overthinking it, but just kind of doing a little short evaluation of, what was my motivation for that? Why did I talk that way? What was it really that was in me? Why did I share that? Where did that come from? That kind of thing. The Lord knows the hidden motives. And it says, unfailing love and faithfulness protect the king. His throne is made secure through love. Whoa, wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, I think of Jesus. Unfailing love and faithfulness protects the king. His throne is made through love. That would be an awesome king, right? And where he's faithful to the Lord. He has an unfailing love, right? He has a loving demeanor in him. That would be awesome. The glory of the young is their strength. The gray hair of the experience is the splendor of the old. Hey, do you got gray hair out there? Hey, it's your splendor. It's a sign that, hey, you have you've had some serious experiences in life, a lot to share, a lot to give out, right? But those young people, they got strength, right? Their bones are still strong, man. They could still, leap through buildings in a single bound, as it said in Superman, Physical punishment cleanses away evil. Such discipline purifies the heart. I wonder if this is what Peter was thinking, actually, when he wrote in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1, that he who suffers has ceased from sin. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, I think it is. You might want to check that out. But it's very similar to this. Physical punishment cleanses away evil. Such discipline purifies the heart. Sometimes when you go through physical discipline or punishment, right, the last thing on your mind is doing something nuts, is going to the bar, going somewhere, going crazy. Sometimes when you're going through physical pain, it can really cleanse your heart and your mind and get you focused back on the Lord. I've seen it over and over and over again where people get injured or something happens in their life and they get sick and they really, are stripped of a lot of things that they used to do. And instead their life, they get really sober and really focused on the Lord. And it can really be a cleansing to the soul. And they realize maybe a lot of things that they did in a wrong way. And so there can be a lot of contemplation in that, punishment that is inflicted, And so it's not talking about asceticism, smacking yourself, I hate you, or those kind of things, or, sometimes the monks took this and they would say, oh, you know what, I got to hit myself, I got to beat myself because it's going to cleanse the soul, kind of idea where, no, Paul calls that false humility in the book of Colossians. That's not bringing you to the Lord at all, right? It's just a kind of reverse pride that's taking place in your heart, right? No, it's not that, but there's incidences in life, no doubt, where there is a punishment that takes place, something that happens where you are punished, you are disciplined. There is something that's laid down. People go to jail and they are punished. And in that situation, there can be a lot of restoration. So I think Solomon's just telling his son that in punishment, there is a cleansing that can take place, in people's lives. And how many people go to jail, man, and they're punished by the law, and they get right. Something happens, and you got a pastor that comes in there and does like a, jails for Jesus kind of ministry. And man, it really is amazing. So Paul says physical pain definitely brings you back to the Lord. The Lord has really brought me some peace, and that's awesome. I mean, and that's just a testimony of like that thing you can't control, where you have just a physical ailment, and that brings you that kind of cleansing work of God. Think of what Solomon's saying about, that person who did something wrong and they go through punishment, as in, they go to jail. That too is an opportunity for a cleansing work, for sure. So, Bob says, most of my sins are a result of pride. Yeah, I would imagine most of us, if we kind of drill down into our heart, we would find that that's kind of something that has plagued all of us. I find, pride being kind of a part of almost every other sin that you kind of do. Pride's attached to it. Bob says, when I was a kid, I shoplifted. And yeah, so you know what that's about, the whole stealing thing, right? The one of taking things. And so Paula says, insulting can be so hurtful to everyone involved. And yep. Oh man. So maybe today we just kind of focus on, hey, let's not insult today. Let's not be people that insult, Paul also says, I hate to be lied to, and once trust is broken, it's hard for me to get that trust back. And that's so true, right? When trust is broken, it's sometimes very difficult. Very, very difficult to get that back. Sometimes we have to, when our hearts are broken too, again, it's a focus us back on the Lord. And, it's hard to let people back into our lives, but we don't want to not give that opportunity. And there's a balance there. We have to be careful. And so there's a lot of contemplation, a lot of wisdom that's needed, especially in times of conflict, when trust is broken. So, man, a lot of good things to think about with the Proverbs, as always. So we'll pick up in 21 the following Monday. Not next week, but the following week. And so you guys have a great week. It'll be a week off of the morning devos with Bo-O, but we'll pick it back up and we'll get it going. So you guys take care. Have a great day, okay? And we'll see you hopefully at church. Bye-bye.